Hi, I'm Maya. Welcome to your daily tarot reading, your daily intuitive message from your spirit guides. Let's have a look what your spirit team wants to tell you right now. What is it that maybe you're not seeing, or something that you need to know, maybe something that you need to hear that's going to help you today. It doesn't matter when you're seeing this. So if you come across this and it's not the day that I've made this recording, that I've posted this, that's okay. Maybe the universe wants you to hear this message right now, wherever and whenever you are. So let's have a look. What is the message for you today? Okay, so you are coming to some sort of conclusions, to some sort of endings here. That are going to make you a little bit emotional. Maybe we've got emotions that are running high, and we're going to have a look at all of this in detail in a sec. But the general vibe is that something is concluding. You're coming to an end of something. It's also relevant if you may be waiting for some sort of information, or you're waiting for some sort of closure. Maybe it's going to be coming in very, very quickly. So we've got conclusions are within reach, and it's a full moon eclipse. So if you look at this card here, you can see that it's got a very beautiful kind of slightly dark energy, I would say, kind of like a bit of a Scorpio type vibe. But everything is about to be illuminated for you. Everything. So even though we've got this eclipse here, so things are kind of hidden. They're about to come up to the surface. Yes. So if you've got a feeling that something is not quite right, or something is not quite clear, then things are going to be a lot clearer soon. We also have this energy of adjustments that are going to need to be made. So maybe on your journey, wherever you are, whatever the situation is that you're in, there's going to be a need to make some sort of adjustments. So for example, at the moment we've got this big thing happening with TikTok and TikTok ban. And if you are in the US, or even if you're not, it's going to affect all of us, I think, if you are on TikTok. So this could be something where you may be looking for new apps, new opportunities, new ways, especially if you're a creator. Yeah, so it could be something like that, where there's just a little bit of an adjustment that needs to be made. And your warning here is to not allow this to make you too consumed by emotion. Yeah, so otherwise you won't be able to see clearly enough. So let's get some details. What are these conclusions? Okay, so the general energy is that there's something that feels like a disconnect. Yeah, so we have the World reversed and we have the Magician reversed. So it feels like there's maybe a disconnect. Maybe it feels like you're not able to utilize all of your talents the way that you want to. Maybe you feel like there's somebody out there who is not being very genuine, maybe in your life. And there's a really big disconnect with the world. Like I said, for example, you know, the example that I gave with regards to TikTok is one good example of that. But it could also be to do with relationships and generally how you feel in the world. A lot of my collective are creatives. So especially if you've been feeling that disconnect from a community of other creatives, or just generally with the world, and especially if you've been feeling like you've not really been able to utilize all the resources, or you've not felt like you have enough resources, that something is restricting you, or maybe you're not able to use all the talents that you have for whatever reason, this is about to go away from your life. So this is what's leaving. And also we have this energy where maybe you've tried to start something new, you've tried to start some sort of new journey or project, like especially, like I said, if you are a creative person, and it hasn't been happening. Something has been stopping you, and this is concluding, and you are going into a very new direction. Here we have the Lovers, where it feels like you are reconnected. So whether that's reconnecting with a person, if this is connected to your relationships, or whether that's reconnecting to your higher self, this is how I always kind of view that, more than even like a person to person type connection. There's a really huge feeling of just having that soulmate in your life, having that very divine connection, the Lovers. Yeah, where you are connected to your higher self. If you're one of my creatives in my collective, then this could be just you reconnecting with your creativity. This could be you feeling like finally you've got your creative juices flowing, and you're finally feeling like the inspiration is back. Yes, this is like a connection with your inspiration, your muse, your creativity, that sort of thing. Now, in terms of the adjustments that you're making, it's some sort of decision that you haven't been able to make for a while. You've sort of been a bit stuck with it. It feels like being between the rock and the hard place a little bit. It's not a very nice energy to be in, and that's why the adjustment is going to need to be made. And it feels a bit like you've maybe felt like you've had to be quite logical, quite objective about it, and your guides are saying that try not to disconnect too much from your heart. Yeah, because this is a Queen of Swords reversed energy, so this is somebody who is very logical, who is very connected to their mind, but because it's reversed, it's always, anything reversed is always out of balance, at least in this specific energy. So it feels like it's kind of gone a bit too far. Yeah, you're being a bit too logical, and I don't know if this is maybe your fear that things are not going to work out, that things are not going to turn around to the positive side, or maybe that's kind of a warning that that's where you are heading if you're not careful, if you're not connecting to your heart. But I feel like the adjustment that you need to make is very much to do with reconnecting to your heart and finding that balance where the decisions that you make are not just because it's sensible to do so, that it's also something that you genuinely want. Yeah, and I'm just going to get a couple of clarification cards here. Okay, this is very interesting. It's almost like we have the Death here, we have the Alchemist, and we have Dare to Dream. And it's almost like you are about to, either you are thinking about making a decision where something is going to end, and it's making you feel like maybe things are not going to work out, or you have to be sensible, you have to be reasonable. But your guides are saying that you can literally alchemize it. You can turn this around. You can literally look at whatever is happening in your life, whatever is ending, because this is definitely the energy of endings. And you can turn it to your highest good. You can even try an affirmation like, everything is always working out for me, everything is always working for my highest good, that kind of thing, because it is. And you are totally able to alchemize this energy, and the most important element of that is to dare to dream, because I feel like maybe this energy has been feeling to you like it's not being very lucky, but you can turn it around by reconnecting with your dream, reconnecting with your heart, and just allowing that back into your life. I think you've been too stuck in that sensible energy. I think maybe you have had some what you perceived as failures in the past, and it's felt like, but all these people who have made very sensible decisions, they've not had to deal with it. And so you've maybe kind of berated yourself for the decisions you made with your heart, and maybe decided that you weren't going to do that again. But you've gone too much that way. Yeah, you can't live a life like that, making decisions just with your mind. It's really important that you follow your heart here. So that's a very important message for you for this, for whatever the situation you find yourself in today, whatever this ending is. And finally, because of all of these emotions, I think it's a very emotional time right now for you because of all of these endings. There's a bit of a duality here. On the one hand, it feels like things are still dragging on, or maybe you're the one that's not letting them fully go out of your life. It feels like you're still holding on to something. We have here justice reversed. Yeah, it could be some sort of situation that is dragging on, that maybe is a little bit legally connected to some sort of legalities. Could be like divorce, could be that sort of thing. It could just be that maybe you feel like you haven't fully cut it out your life. The reason it's important to do that is because this is a card of balance. It's a Libra energy, yeah, justice. And when you are in this position, when you are reversed, you are sort of preventing, by holding on to the past, you're preventing this Libra energy of beautiful balance from being in your life. Yeah, so don't resist whatever this ending is. It's going to be much better for you if you just let it go. There's going to be a sense of conflict healing, especially where you felt maybe that you were comparing yourself to others in some way. Maybe you were comparing yourself to how others do things, and I think it's very, connected to that sense of well, others have done better because they haven't followed their heart, or maybe they've been a lot more sensible. But your path is different, and that's important to remember. And there's going to be a real sense of healing from that. There's whatever this conflict is, or whatever this sense of competitiveness, it's going to be healing in a really big time. And you are just being advised to keep the energy of having a slight strategy, like a loose strategy, but also stay very creative. This is not just a card of strategy and strategic thinking, but it's also a card of creativity. This is a Seven of Swords, so this is where anything can happen. It's a card that's sort of like magic that you can create out of your own creativity, literally, like using your intuition, using your creativity, that sort of thing. And I'm just going to pull another card or two out for this to give me a little bit more detail for you. Literally what I have been saying. So we have connect to heart, and we also have the warrior, and the warrior here is the sword. So I do feel like it's very much, if you are a creative, especially somebody who uses the pen, who uses words, who uses your voice, that's going to be very important. You are being asked to, maybe you've been overthinking it a little bit when it comes to your creativity. Maybe you've been thinking too much about your audience. Maybe you've been thinking too much about how your creative project will be received, or will you be able to get it out? Will you be able to get it published? Will you be able to get it out into the world? And that's kind of closed your heart off, yeah. Or maybe you've been a little bit scared to connect with those emotions. Maybe you need to go a little bit more personal in whatever it is that you're doing creatively. And so you are being asked to connect to your heart and just kind of put that pen to paper, yeah, or put this voice to good use, and just start doing it. I think you're going to be in for a really big surprise with how things are going to turn out for you, because there's a very positive energy in the air, and it feels like there's a real ending, there's a real death of feeling like you have to be careful with how you create. This is a new beginning for you, where you're going to be able to express yourself in a much more authentic way. So don't resist this ending, because it's going to be very, very good for you. And I think maybe this ending itself is like the ending of that period of your life where you felt like you had to pander to audiences, versus just expressing yourself creatively and seeing where that gets you, yeah, where that gets you. So yeah, it's a really beautiful energy. Bottom of the deck is, again, we have get creative. So I do think that this is a very creative energy up in the air, where you are starting something new, or you are redoing something, but in a much more authentic, heart-based way. As an example, let's say you are a writer, but you've been writing in a form or a genre that's been maybe something that you thought would be more likely to be published, yeah, and now you've realized that that's not necessarily maybe happened, and you're starting to connect with your heart, because you feel like, well, I might as well do what I enjoy. I might as well write from the heart. Or maybe you've had some sort of project, voice-based, so maybe a singer or speaker, or even, you know, whatever it is, where the words is important, and maybe you've not been fully able to express how you feel because you felt a bit closed-hearted, you felt a bit scared about how that's going to be received, yeah. So again, audience is really important here, and that's created that sense of disconnect, and that sense of maybe not being recognized for your talents, or not being able to use all your talents fully. Now you are ending all of this, and you're really reconnecting with this really beautiful part of you, this higher self. That's your creativity, that's your inner child. All of that connection is literally flying out of my hands. So what a beautiful energy for you to start the week on. And yeah, I'm really excited for you. I'm really excited, and I think you're about to go and start creating something really, really beautiful.